So let's talk about something that might sting a little. What if all that learning you're doing, all those books, podcasts, and videos, what if it's actually holding you back?
I mean, wow. Let that one sink in for a second. This quote hits hard, right? Because it points to a trap so many of us fall into. We mistake consuming information for making real, actual progress. If you feel like you're constantly spinning your wheels, learning and learning but not seeing the results, stick around. This is for you.
You know that feeling like you're on a hamster wheel of self-improvement? Well, it has a name. Let's call it the consumption trap. And yeah, it looks and feels super productive, but for most people, it's just a clever way to avoid doing the hard stuff.
And at the very heart of this trap is something called the knowledge illusion. It's that little buzz you get, that rush of feeling smart when you learn something new. But then, nothing happens. So here's what it is, right? It's the feeling of learning without the discipline of doing. You finish a book, you get that little hit of dopamine, and you feel like you've accomplished something. But then you just grab the next book without changing a single thing in your life. You're becoming a really great theorist in a world that only, and I mean only, rewards practitioners. Okay, real talk for a second. Let's do a quick gut check. Look at this question. Seriously, pause and think about it. The last 3 books. Can you name one concrete action you took? If the answer is no, you didn't really learn. You were just entertained. That, right there, is the illusion in action. So, how in the world do we break out of this cycle? Well, it all starts with what you let in. You've got to build a better filter. I mean, think about it. Garbage in, garbage out, right? You can't get high-quality results from low-quality information.
It seems so obvious when you put it like this, doesn't it? Of course not. You wouldn't trust a map from someone who's completely lost themselves. And yet, how often do we take life-changing advice from people who haven't actually built the life we want?
So here's a super simple but crazy effective filter you can use. Before you listen to anyone, a guru, an author, a creator, ask these 2 questions. First, have they actually done the thing you're trying to do? And second, do they have the kind of life you genuinely admire and want for yourself? If the answer to either one is no, you're probably just getting theory, not road-tested wisdom.
And look, filtering isn't just about who you listen to, it's about what you don't listen to. To think at a high level, you need a clean mental environment. That means you got to become allergic to drama and gossip. You got to cut out the 24/7 news cycle that just feeds you fear. And you have to unfollow anyone who just turns you into a passive spectator of their life instead of the hero of your own.
Okay, so once your inputs are clean, the next big shift is how you actually process information. It's time to stop being a passenger on someone else's train of thought and start being the architect of your own life. And look at this comparison. This is huge. A passenger, they're passive. Their goal is just to finish the book, to consume it. But an architect, they are active. Their goal isn't consumption, it's implementation. An architect doesn't just read chapter 1 and move on. They stop and they apply chapter 1 before they even think about starting chapter 2. They're not trying to finish the book, they're trying to solve the book. And that architect mindset, that's where this next idea comes in. The 1% implementation loop. Look, the goal here isn't to change your entire life overnight. Real, lasting change doesn't work that way. It comes from tiny, consistent actions, day after day. Just 1%. It sounds like nothing, right? And honestly, that's the whole point. It's supposed to feel easy. The goal is to find one small insight, one tiny action, and just commit to doing it every single day. Maybe it's 5 minutes of meditation. Maybe it's one more cold call. It's about building momentum with wins so small you can't possibly fail. And this is where it gets crazy. That tiny 1% improvement, it doesn't just add up. Oh no, it compounds. Look at this chart. After 90 days, you're more than twice as good. But after a full year, getting 1% better each day makes you nearly 38 times better. That is the unbelievable, explosive power of consistency. And you know what that consistency builds? It's not just skill, it's real confidence. Because confidence doesn't come from reading another book. It comes from keeping those small promises you make to yourself when nobody is watching. That daily 1% action, that builds a level of self-trust that you just can't get any other way. Building that trust, that's the engine. And it brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. And honestly, it's the one that changes everything. It's called the mirror principle. This is the big mindset shift that pulls it all together.
It really starts with why you're learning in the first place. If you're just learning to fluff up your own ego, you're going to stay small. But if you start learning to gain the skills to solve bigger and bigger problems for other people, well, that's when the world starts to open up for you. The size of your life is always in direct proportion to the size of the problems you are willing and able to solve.
And this all comes down to one powerful metaphor. Life is a mirror, not a window. See, most of us look at the world like it's a window. We're just watching things happen to us. But the truth is, life is a mirror. It's just showing you a reflection of what's already inside.
So what does that mean? It's simple, really. You don't see the world as it is. You see the world as you are. Your career, your relationships, your health, it's all a direct reflection of your own character, your discipline, your focus, and your daily actions. What you see out there is just a reflection of who you are in here.
So I'll leave you with this question. If you look in the mirror of your life and you don't like the reflection you see, where are you going to focus your energy? Are you going to spend your life trying to fix the mirror, blaming your boss, the economy, your circumstances, or are you finally going to do the real work of improving the person in the reflection? The choice is yours.